The first standard we were asked to be able to do is to create an equation. One of the first steps you can do in trying to create an equation is to pull out all the numbers that you see, read through or skim, and find all the key numbers. It's also important to note some keywords that might mean a math operation. For example, plus would mean add. I also like to look for what we're solving for. We're asking how many hours they have the bike checked out for. The item that they're asking about is generally a variable that's unknown, so a lot of times we call it X. So in reading this story problem, we find a bike rental shop charging $16 plus $8 for every hour they rent the bike. Mary pays $64 to rent the bike. That asks how many hours she paid to have the bike checked out. To create this equation, when I noticed 64 was the final amount, that generally means that's what I'm going to end with. So I'll put my equals 64. I noted that they started with $16. That had nothing to do with how long she had the bike, just a $16 fee. Plus would mean add, and $8 for every hour, which I'm calling X because I don't know how many hours I'll have the bike, would create my equation. Once we have an equation, your next standard is to be able to solve the equation. So in this case, to be able to solve it, I would want to get my X all alone. I generally work with the variable and the number next to it last, so I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides first. Some of us will draw the line down here in the middle to keep it balanced on both sides, because as you may have heard before, what you do to one side, you'll do to the other. So my 16 take away 16 is gone, and I have 8x. Down my equals here, 64 take away 16 makes 48. Now my final step, to get x all alone, it says 8 times x would be to divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 makes 1, so we don't have to write the 1, we just leave 1x there. And 48 divided by 8 is 6. By solving this equation, we've answered the question of how many hours Mary rented the bike for. We would say she rented it for 6 hours.